Spellcraft. Let's talk about Spellcraft, okay? Um, I don't even know where to start. I don't even know where to start or what to talk about. Because Spellcraft, to me, is a lot of fun because you're never done. You keep... It's like drawing, right? You're never done progressing at drawing. Every drawing you do, you get better, and you learn something new. And you want to draw a dog, you draw it, and it's like, it's not a good-looking dog. Well, a year later, you draw that same dog, it looks better, right? So Spellcraft has been addictive, especially recently because I've learned a lot within the last couple of weeks about why some spells work and why some don't. Okay, let's take a look inside the Book of Shadows. The Book of Shadows. All right. The first entry on spellcasting is, this is what a spirit guide told me how to do it, right? Now, I have always been manifesting, but just not knowing how it worked. And until I started talking with spirits and they gave me better instruction. So these steps were told to me by my ancestor / spirit guide. I don't know if she's going to be cool with her name there, but the first step, according to her, right, is to decide purpose and then choose the words, create a ritual that channels the spell, and 4, see beyond yourself with eyes open. Well, what does any of that mean? So, okay, set intention, choose the words. They got to be the right ones. Create a ritual that channels the spell. And then see beyond yourself with eyes open? What? And then I go on to say that's about the altered state of consciousness. That's about meditating, right? Here's some more information on spellcraft taken from another book, right? To cast a spell, see it, visualization, feel it, know it, and let go. Okay. Wow, to elaborate on all these, I would recommend just getting the book. But basically, visualize what you want, the intention that you're trying to manifest. Visualization during meditation, like if you can get into theta. Feel it, pour your heart and soul into it, and almost as if it's real, see if you can touch it, know it, convince yourself it's already reality, okay? You don't have to convince yourself a chair exists every time you go to sit down. So once you've cast a spell, that's it. It's reality. And then let go. Stop. That's the hardest part, because if you have a desire, it's really hard to let go. Once you've cast a spell, you still desire it. How do you just forget about it? That's the hardest part, and I struggle with. And I go on to say, I see great potential in combining this method with ritualistic candle magic. But if I'm going to create a ritual for myself, what's the ritual going to look like? I came up with a few methods. So I'm going to take a little bit of candle magic, of burning a candle, and I'm going to combine this when I'm doing the ritual. I'm going to do this. And the more you read books on magic, you tend to notice that they often say the same kind of thing in the steps of casting a spell. For example, there's a lot of getting into that altered state of consciousness and things we'll talk about, casting a circle, but basically, and then we get to, but look at number 8, right? Feel it, make your statement of intent, perform the spell or working, so that would be the ritual. Visualize, okay, so we have feel and visualize again, okay? Release the quarters, release the circle, close down, kind of like saying, let go, right? You tend to see commonalities in different... Okay, here's another example. You see the same themes come up again. It's kind of like Amelia said, choose the words, right? You see visualizing again. Channeling. I believe Amelia said that as well. And this one has projecting your combined intent and power. Ooh, projecting. That's an interesting one. So what you do is, and I already did. So you read about this new step you haven't heard of, and you see if it's something you can incorporate. Oh, look, we have a whole book. And again, like you see commonalities. Shift consciousness. Ooh, this one deliberately states you need an altered state of consciousness. Releasing them towards a goal. So that coincides with projection. Shifting consciousness allows you to attain different states of mind. Filtering out the surface noise and distractions. Ooh, that helps a lot with spirit work. Trying to concentrate and focus on what you're doing. Raise energy, release it towards your goal. Manifestation. So you see, again, common themes. Not always identical, but certain things keep coming up over and over and over again. Visualization, desired intent, altered state of consciousness, you know. This one will instruct you. Okay, so have an intention, create a ritual, and cast the spell. Simple, right? Well, what ritual? What do you do? It's up to you. It's like art. What do you want to... Any kind of art actually can be incorporated into it. Like sigil magic. I wonder if I should just do a video on sigil magic. Like creating a symbol, charging it with energy, and casting it, right? My first basic ritual involved chanting, right? Chanting, breathing, and you want to build the energy. The ritual is to build energy, right? Now, some spells don't, but for me, I do. Like if you read... if you read any just spell book, a lot of these do not involve any sort of ritual. It's up to you, right? But I would suggest engaging as many layers of reality as you can. Your physical, things you do for the ritual, things you wear. Mental, so that can involve speaking. It can involve writing the incantation. You can write a whole poem, right, for your spell, if that's what you want to do. Double, toil and trouble. Psychic, so projecting it, getting into that altered state of consciousness, trying to silence your thoughts so you have a clear path to the divine where you can communicate and have it communicate back. Astral, all these things, okay? Engage as many layers of reality that you know how. Emotional, pour your heart and soul into it, okay? Feel it, right? Pour feeling into it. If you're casting a spell and you're not enthusiastic or sincere, it's not going to work. Why aren't you enthusiastic? That's a question you should ask yourself. Why are you casting this spell if you're not enthusiastic about it? What else can I say about spellcraft? Divination. Before you cast a spell, talk to your spirit guides. If you don't talk to spirit guides, if you don't know how, or you don't have a way to talk to them, there's other things. Tarot cards, right? If you want to know if a spell will work before you do it, do a tarot card reading to see if it'll work. You can do a tarot card reading to help you to ask, will this work? Or what kind of spell? What do I need, right? And interpret the tarot reading through symbolism, through your subconscious, and the divine communicating you. Like, that's how tarot works. Sorry, I'm getting my videos mixed up here. I should go back and touch up my meditation video and talk about tarot a little bit, because how to interpret them and subconscious and all that stuff. That'll save you time. If you can do a quick little divination to see if a spell will work, like, hey, will this spell to get that new girlfriend work? Nope. Well, I can save my time and not go through the hassle of casting a spell that's not going to work in the first place. After you cast the spell, again, I always check in. I'm starting to check in with both spirit guides and Hecate now. Because Hecate is a better judge. Like, I used to just talk to the spirit guides, and well, I used to be more nervous about talking to Hecate because it's like, who am I? And she's, like. But now it's a little more casual. So you cast a spell, you ask the spirits on a scale of 1 to 10, how was that? For me, I have the Ouija board, so they can give me a number on a scale of 1 to 10, how well that spell casting went. And it's funny because I'll be like, "Hey, how did that go? Oh, that was a 9 out of 10. Okay, Hecate, how did that go? That was a 6." you know. So who do you want to listen to in that situation? I'm gonna listen to Hecate in that situation. Okay. So okay. I reached a point where I noticed some spells weren't working and some spells did. And I think every witch or magician or wizard, whatever you want to call yourself, for me, I call myself witch, gets to that point where they're like, why? Why isn't this working? But that did. I did the same thing. Is this all real? Well, yeah, it's real because the paranormal stuff that goes on when I'm doing this is real. And the people in the room when I've done this are like, whoa, that was interesting. Yeah. So how come it works sometimes and how come it doesn't? Let's go back to my book of shadows because I've been journaling about this. We can see me explore this concept and what I've come to realize. Okay, so journaling, here's one entry about spellcrafting and why it works and why it doesn't. So this is a conversation with Hecate and just me jotting down the important things from that conversation, things I wanted to remember. And about magic success. She said, hidden truths and motivations sabotage results. Sincere magic is more successful. That is the importance of shadow work. Know your true self and craft spells with the sincerity of your true feelings. So I'm wondering if there's anything else on this page that relates to that point. No. Okay. So yeah, you will hear things about shadow work come up if you study witchcraft. What is it? It's getting to know your deep, dark, hidden secrets, basically, and how they sabotage you. And I think we can all relate to that, whether you practice magic or not. We all relate to sabotaging ourselves sometimes, right? I thought this was interesting. And I put this in a video I recorded when she told me this on Spellcraft. You've been doing it correctly. Just keep doing it until it's perfect. The difference between correct and perfect is mastery of the craft. Basically, put in the time. Keep doing it, So this is me reevaluating my spellcraft. Can I improve results? And just brainstorming a few things about can I improve my results, right? Reminding myself things that I may have forgotten, like focus on mind magic, know it, let go, know thyself in shadow work. Like how am I going to sabotage my results, right? And just the idea here on this page is that keep reflecting on why it's working, why it isn't. I'm just wondering, I was flicking through and I'm wondering, do I have anything to say about these entries? Do they contribute to my spellcraft lesson? Oh, right. Okay, so here's one. Yeah, this was a turning point for me in learning about spellcraft and about adjusting what I can do. So, about having, like, you get a result, but it's not exactly what you wanted. can you have a more specific result? And the idea to get a more specific result was to have a more specifically worded intention. And I was like arguing with the spirit guides. I'm like, you don't want me, when we come up with the words for these spells, you don't like me having a lot of wordy spells. And they were like, that's because you chose to do chants. If you're going to chant, you want it short and simple. If you're going to do a different kind of ritual, you can have more specific intentions. Like you can write an incantation. I was like, oh. And they explained like, all art is expression and can be used for spellcraft because for expressing intent, right? Use art to express intent. So when you hear a big fancy like double, double, toil and trouble, that iambic pentameter poem, that's art and it's expressing an intention, right? I think I did an entry about even maybe using drawings because I'm expressing an intention with this drawing. Same with sigils, right? Is there an entry about sigils in here? Yeah, okay. This is a specific sigil I took from a book. But yeah. Aha. And then this is where I reached the big aha. It was like a huge epiphany of why some spells work and some don't. And you will hear a lot about will, true will. You will hear about higher self. You will hear about holy guardian angel. And I even bookmarked a page in this book about that. Didn't I? Yes, I used that tarot card, right? Higher will, okay? So I guess they're calling it higher will in this one, okay? Higher will guides you to your purpose in life. Basically, what I figured out is if you're doing a spell that sort of aligns with your destiny, it's going to work. If you're doing a spell just for material gain of your middle self, do I need to explain higher, lower, middle self? I might. Then it's going to have a lot more of a difficult time working. Okay? Do you know the show The Price is Right? That game Plinko, where you see they drop a thing and it hits all these notches on the way down. They want it to land here, but it lands over there because it gets deflected and redirected by all the things in the way. If you're doing a spell that's in line with your true will, there are fewer things in the way. It's going to land bang on. If you're doing a spell from just, you want some money? From your middle self's desires, I think I even wrote, it's futile. There's so many things in the way, it just never seems to work. So how do you know what your true will is? Well, for me, the first thing I did was I invoked my true will and did some automatic writing. Which you may have heard of. It's when you go into a trance, you're channeling a spirit. For me, it was channeling a part of myself and just letting the words come out on the page. And what did my true will say when I was talking to it? The spells that worked were focused on either self-improvement or helping others. And then to learn more about my true will, I did some numerology, right? I'm not big on numerology. I only really did this one numerology experiment to learn more about my true will. According to numerology, I am a prophet, sixth sense, need to develop the psychic powers. I feel a need to change the world. Yeah, I have a thing about superheroes. Like, I want to be one. I'm sensitive to people's needs and a bit of a strange hermit. What? No, I'm not. Yes, I am. Also, visionary skills to see the future, writing, journey far and wide, exploring mysteries, communication skills, help bring out the best in people. So, spellcraft will have a higher success rate when aligned with higher self and true will. So, spells to help others, spells for self-improvement, spells for psychic reasons, divination, communication, right? Things that align with my higher self and true will tend to work. Is that true? Well, I made a list of all the spells that worked. So one day, fairly recently, I was like, I'm going to write down all the spells I've cast that definitely worked. And I could probably even add a few more to this. This was just a brainstorm. The big ones that always seem to work the most and seem to work the best have to do with mediumship and spirit communication. Okay? I seem to be a natural at that. And if you go back, yeah, makes sense. Even kind of ties in with that. Communications skills, right? And just taking stock of all the spells. I even thought about writing a page of the spells I know that didn't work, but there's no point. I already know that if I compared them to the true will, they're not going to line up. Whereas all the ones I've done that work, all of them are in line with my true will. So I'll go back in this book. So the key to spellcraft is to know your true will. Just trying to think, like, there's a lot I didn't talk about. I didn't talk about casting a circle to create a sacred space. I didn't talk about invoking the elements or deities. Because if you do any research, you will find that stuff. I found that knowledge easily. The knowledge I didn't find easily was my true will. And you will you'll hear about that stuff. Your true will. But what is it? How do you know what it is? So you gotta find out. And you should also find out what, have a talk with your shadow self. Get in touch with your lower self, right? To see how that will sabotage you in many ways, not just in spellcraft, but in life. You know, sit on the therapist's couch. Or take some natural, do what you need to do shadow work. Maybe I'll make a video about that. Anything else I can say? The ritual is up to you. Keep working at it. It's a craft. The more you do it, the better you get. The more effort you put in, the better your result. Use as many states of reality that you can. Altered states of consciousness, physical, emotional, and if you cast a spell for that new car just because you want a new car, it's not going to work as well as a spell that you cast that's in line with your true will. Anything else I have to say about spellcraft? Crafting is creating the spell. Casting it is the act of casting it. That's it, I guess. Get to know your true will. Get to know your higher self. You have a purpose, okay? You have a reason for being here. Any spell that you craft that will help your reason for being here is going to work, okay? I know that because I have the proof in my Book of Shadows, okay? So the trick is not, how do I cast a spell? That part's easy. The trick is, how do I know it's in line with my true will? You got to find that stuff out. That's a little harder.